Welcome, everybody. Hey, this is John Arnold. I'm the chair of the Future of Work Expo coming up in February 2025 in Fort Lauderdale, which has been the home to this event, along, of course, with the bigger tent IT Expo experience that's going to be returning. I think this is the 41st iteration. So they've been doing this a while, and yes, they know what they're doing. And Future of Work, if you don't know, is one of the what we call sub-events, and you can see that here on my background. It's one of several specialty tracks that go deep on certain topics. And as you can see, IoT is a good one, smart cities, 6G, graduating from 5G. We have a CX event running, cybersec, etc. And ours is one of those tracks. So we've been exploring this broader topic for several years now about what the future of work is about, primarily through a technology lens, and that's why I've got Michael here today joining me. So my guest today on this segment is Michael Cohen from Unified Office. So Michael, welcome to our video segment here today.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, great to have you. And of course, you're going to be on one of the sessions, and we're going to talk about that in a moment. But let me turn it over to you for a little bit to say a bit about your role and Unified Office, the kind of things that you guys are doing, and then we'll kind of slide into the future work kind of side of things.
Okay, great. Yeah, my name is Michael Cohen. I'm a principal software engineer here at Unified Office. And Unified Office is a very interesting company. So we make phone systems, but that's really not the focus of what we do. We supply phone systems to various customers of ours. And one of our main verticals of focus is quick service restaurants. So we have many franchisee operators of Domino's pizza establishments as our customers. So we supply the phone systems for them. But in addition to that, we can, help them in the way they do business. Really, our phone systems give the owners kind of insights into what's happening in their businesses, and we have a couple of different product features that help with that. So it's that's one of our verticals, QSRs. We also have customers in the auto dealerships are our customers, and we have dental and medical offices as well, and hospitality is another one we focus on. But our biggest one to date is quick service restaurants, and we're happy to bring them new kind of innovative features that really help them understand their business.
Yeah, that's great. And folks, as you listen along, I think it'll be clear why Michael is going to be a pretty important part of this panel session we're going to be doing about AI and its kind of transformational impact. And when you think of that term, Michael, future of work, we can kind of be very narrow in our thinking and say, oh, well, it's about what people do in the office. And yes, that is true. And TMC's IT Expo being a technology event, the roots are in telephony and phone systems and PBXs and key systems and all the analog tools that were kind of essential for all businesses. But clearly, the office isn't the only place where work gets done, right? The frontline environment, of course, is huge, hospitality, all that kind of stuff. And then, yes, healthcare too. But yeah, certainly retail and all these specialty, as you say, these niches like real estate, dental offices, clinics, right? They all have the common denominator, I think you'd agree, Michael, is they need a phone, right? I don't think
Yeah.
that's ever going to change.
Yeah, I mean, I think people thought maybe that we wouldn't need phones because apps are so prevalent, but really, if you want to find out what people are thinking and just know your customers and your employees, you have and if you have a phone system, then you have a big corpus of data that you can inspect and turn into insights. And that's exactly what we're trying to do.
Yeah, I think that's the key idea here. And for people who think about Oh, telephony. I haven't used a desk phone in years, and that's probably true for a lot of people, but that is besides the point. The desk phone is really just an appliance, it's just an endpoint. You can get just as much utility for a voice conversation on your PC, on your mobile device, right? Any Bluetooth in your car, anything. But the difference is if you think about telephony as making phone calls, you're missing the point. When we talk about the future of work, we all need to talk. Voice is still our primary way of the way we for meaningful face-to-face communication and of course real time. But what you just said before, Michael, and I'm going to ask you to expand on this a bit more, is when VoIP came along, and that's kind of was the big earthquake in this industry back in the late 90s. It changed everything because it transformed the concept of telephony from being pure voice on a circuit switched network, right, to a data application that, guess what, runs over a data network, not a dedicated voice network. And that concept is a very central, I believe, to the future of work concept because now, as you say, voice telephony isn't just conversations between people, it's these new data streams. And I want you as an engineer, maybe talk a bit more about why should we care? Why, so what if it's a data stream?
Yeah, yeah, no, it's actually exciting. So the voice itself is digital, but and like you described, it can happen on any device, a phone, a Bluetooth, what have you. But really, the content of what is being said there is super valuable. And in fact, I see one of the roles of AI moving forward as being taking large amounts of unstructured data, like the transcriptions of your phone calls, for instance, at your office, and analyzing that and creating structured data out of that unstructured, just that whole corpus of unstructured voice data. And so we have a couple of tools that are doing that today here at Unified Office. So for some of our customers who are um, uh, have they've signed up for our Engage IQ offering. That offering, uh, it takes every phone call, and what it does initially is it categorizes it. Now, so uh, this is something that a human could do by reading the transcript and saying, oh, okay, this is a call to a pizza shop, and they're not placing an order, they're calling to complain about delivery. So it can make that determination. And after it's made that determination, we store that in a structured way so that folks can come back to the website and see what kind of call categories have we been receiving in terms of our calls for the past week, the past month, and really drill down and look and understand what's happening at their business. So categorization, simple categorization is a new piece of data that we can glean off of our unstructured data. So categorization, another one we're doing is our Engage IQ call scoring. So the customer service reps who are receiving these calls, they have a set of instructions, how to handle the call, what to say when they greet the customer, the fact that they should summarize the order at the end of the call. These are all rules that are known to the customer service rep. Um, and the AI can score those calls and make sure that they're doing all the steps required when taking a phone call. So this helps managers know that their employees understand the process and are executing on the process. And it can all just happen in the background, just normally when you make those phone calls. If we switch on our Engage IQ, it's going to analyze all of them and give us insights. Um, so yeah, it's not only the day-to-day stuff uh, like analyzing orders and how the call went. We have categorizers that will, for instance, pick out any incoming phone call when a person is actually not looking for food but doing a job search. They're looking for a job, and then we squirrel away all that data about job searches, and the manager then has a whole list of people who called in asking about jobs. In this day and age when labor is so hard to find, you know, gleaning this information out of your phone calls super valuable, I think.
Yeah, you're laying out a really good picture here, Michael, because when we talk about telephony and being a voice application now, that's been in place for a long time. Where we look at future of work through the lens of AI, which is driving everything, and that's what this particular panel session is about, right? How is AI transforming business in terms of how the business does things? This is a big part of it. And the other piece to this too is that when we think about AI, for if you're a decision maker, an executive, uh, and someone, Michael, who's probably not very technical, when they hear AI, they think automation. They think cost savings, possibly labor reduction. They're thinking in those terms. And when you talk about the unstructured data, stuff that is kind of free floating but has never been seen as having value, and in the speech rec space, we talk about that as dark data, just our
Mm.
everyday conversations, right? Now, with AI being able to capture every data stream and analyze it and do it in real time. Now we've got something here that's not about phone calls at all, right? This is how
Yeah.
AI can really be transformative, right? For the
I
future.
really like that phrase, dark data. Yeah, we're kind of shining a light on that data and seeing what is really there. Yeah,
Yeah.
neat.
Yeah, and I think that's what I want people to see from this session for you and the other speakers who are going to be on that panel. But I think AI, because it's so kind of in our face right now, it is a technology. It's not really AI itself is not a technology, but it represents a family of technologies. But for people, business leaders who are looking at saying, how is AI going to change my business? What role does it have in future work? That's really what we're getting at in this particular panel. And I think, telephony and voice is a particular use case for AI, but I think it's a very valuable one, a very central one, because if we don't talk, then not a lot gets done, right? So we
Right.
have to keep that channel robust and moving along and not let it get taken over with texts and SMSs and all of that. And that's to me is the transformative potential for AI. So if you're if you're thinking of AI, as I said, as a way to just automate stuff, well, yeah, you can do that. And a lot of what you've been describing is automation, but that's not what we're after here, right? As you say, we're trying to get those insights. Maybe talk a bit about the kind of insights your customers get from this.
Right. So, like I mentioned, we have the call scoring, which helps managers understand if their customer service reps understand their scripts. But we also have right for some of our quick service restaurants, they actually keep track of the temperatures in their freezers and their refrigerators. So this is not maybe not voice related, but we're gleaning performance data out of their freezing and cooling equipment and helping to predict when those things maybe need attention. So that's a good one. That's kind of an old school use of machine learning that has been around for a while, but at some point it's about fusing all these ideas together. And so the other thing we're building is an ad hoc query tool where you can take a period of time at your office, say a week or a month, and say during that week or month, um, to continue with the QSR example, you could say how many orders ordered are in how many orders did they place an order for desserts, for instance. You really want to see how your desserts are selling, and maybe there's not a quick way to glean that from other sources, but you can certainly hear how many times people are ordering that uh, through voice. um, uh, so yeah, there are interesting things that could happen as well with the call recordings. So take a customer, a vertical like a bank or a brokerage. Um, One of the things I'd like to build is an automated scam detection. I mean, this stuff has been there in emails for years and years and years now,
Mm.
probably a couple of decades, and uh, being able to say, "Hey, there were some phone calls that happened in our network that maybe were sketchy." I think obviously super valuable.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah,
right.
this is really helpful because we I think the meat and potatoes of the IT Expo crowd is mostly medium businesses and smaller businesses, and what you're describing is stuff that may to someone who's just had an analog phone system for the last 30 years and are still kind of lagging with the new technologies, AI can feel very intimidating, right? And that's where companies like United Office can really like be the hand holding and opening the doors to say, hey, even small businesses like yours can get the benefit of this and really help your business become more efficient, more competitive, more interesting. Yeah, and I think this is a good message for this audience, right?
Yeah, I think so too. And we do focus on smaller and medium-sized businesses, and we've done engineering to keep costs low for that reason too. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you look at, for example, up here on my background, you see some of the other sub events. So when we talk about IoT, right? That is large scale, enterprise grade, campus grade type of environments where you're talking about massive amounts of data to make very fractional changes, but they add up because of the volumes to something big. But a small, whatever, three location business can still get benefit too, right? You don't have to be a giant business to get the to get the outputs of this, right?
Right, right, yeah, and open source has definitely helped in that regard. I mean, having access to super powerful, AI models is a good thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
so let's see what we can do with them. Is really the attitude here.
exactly. And I think too, we may want to hear more from you on the panel about this, but you, especially as an engineer, you live and breathe this stuff every day. But I think everyday customers who aren't very technical might feel very intimidated by all this. So
Mm.
maybe just here for a moment or two, talk about some of the skills that they're going to need, both the decision
Mm.
makers and the end users, right, to actually make this work, right?
Yeah, yeah. So, um, so our focus here is to do all of that work for you. So we are in the process of defining for each one of our verticals that I mentioned and many more, um, the both the system prompts and user prompts that would be needed to interface with a generative AI. So to make that a little more understandable, um, when so we're doing the hard work of figuring out how to talk to the AI, giving it that unstructured data, and then that AI gives us its answers, and we are taking the answers and stuffing that into our database. So we've got that structured data for you now. Um, so really, the what we want to build here at Unified Office is a tool where you don't really need to know what's going on behind the curtains. Um, we're doing that for you. And the system prompt uh, and the user prompt, those ideas are you're just telling the generative AI, hey, I want you to play this role for the next question that I'm going to ask you. And the user prompt is the question that the system is asking the AI about is that's the one that we structure in a very clean way to make sure that the generative AI has small little steps that it can follow. So we do that simplification on our end, and so the customer at Unified Office, they just see the results of the AI and are able to, with this ad hoc query tool, just ask their own questions in free-form text. That is our goal. So hopefully we're doing the work so you don't have to.
Well, I like the approach, and it's certainly one. There are many paths to this new world where we talk about future of work. But no spoiler here, folks. AI is going to be the path that we're going to have to follow for almost all of this stuff. So companies like Unified Office that make it easy for you, that's a big part of the story. So, all right, we're going to close on that, Michael, and I just want to, for the listeners out there, the viewers out there, to say that our events are running in at the IT Expo, February 11th through 13th. So, day one is the Tuesday. This session about AI and going beyond automation for future of work is going to be kicking off day two. So it'll be Wednesday morning at 9 o'clock. And for those of you who are coming to join us, we hope that's all of you. And stay tuned for details as you register. You'll know where the room is that all our sessions for Future Work Expo will be in. And Michael will be joined by three other speakers, and we're going to have a very interesting panel for that to kick off day two. Okay, so with that, Michael, thank you for being on the interview segment today, and looking forward to seeing you in warm, sunny Florida in a few weeks' time.
Yes, very much so. Looking forward to that. Thank you.